You ever buy a little pistol, toss it in the safe, and forget it even exists? Well, here's the kicker. The tiny backup you shrugged off years ago might be worth more than your monthly truck payment today. That's right. Some of these unassuming pocket pistols, the ones nobody gave a second thought to back in the day, are skyrocketing in collector value. They've gone from glove box guns and vest carry pieces to straight up investment gold. And here's the wild part, you might already own one without even knowing it. The CCAMP LWS 380. When Ludwig CCAMP launched this pistol in the late 1970s, it completely changed the pocket gun game. Unlike the pot metal knockoffs of the era, the LWS 380 was stainless steel, built with the kind of precision you'd expect from a Swiss watch. Double action only, no external safety to snag, crafted for one purpose, deep concealment with total reliability. For decades, these guns had a waiting list so long you practically had to know someone in the club to get one. Folks who finally snagged an LWS rarely let it go. Early runs with original roll marks or factory boxes now fetch over $2,000 depending on condition. It's a bridge between classic vest pistols and today's modern micro-carry guns. Spot one at a show or pawn shop? Don't hesitate, prices are only headed one direction, up. The Walther Model Nine. Back in the early 1920s, Walther introduced the Model 9 and immediately set a new standard for what tiny could mean in a semi-auto. Chambered in 25 ACP, this little German marvel could disappear entirely in the palm of your hand. Measuring under 4 inches long and weighing less than 10 ounces, it was purpose-built for discreet civilian carry between the world wars. Don't let its size fool you. It carried that signature Walther smooth machining and surprising reliability for such a micro-sized package. Production rolled on into the 1940s, but pristine examples are getting harder to find. Collectors chase engraved versions, presentation cased models, and early pre-war runs. Standard guns fetch $800 to $1,200, while rare variants can easily push $2,000. The Model 9 proves that craftsmanship and concealability can coexist in a palm-sized package. The Colt 1903 Pocket Hammerless. John Browning didn't just design another carry gun, he set the tone for an entire era. Originally chambered in 32 ACP and later in 380 ACP, this pistol became the sidearm of detectives, military officers, and even a handful of gangsters during the Roaring '20s. Its hammerless name came from a concealed hammer, allowing smooth draws without snagging. Back in the day, you could pick one up cheap at gun shows, but those days are gone. Early production runs, factory grips, and military-marked pistols now command attention. Clean examples trade from $1,200 to $2,000, with rare or pristine variants climbing much higher. This isn't just a pocket pistol, it's a timeless American icon, blending Browning's genius with old-school style. The Ortiz pocket pistol. After World War I, Germany was swarming with arms makers trying to put people back to work. Heinrich Ortiz jumped into the scene with a pistol that became an export hit. Chambered in 7.65 millimeter, better known as 32 ACP, the Ortiz pocket pistol combined simplicity with clever touches like a unique push-button safety integrated into the grip. Back then, these weren't rare. Hundreds of thousands were sold across Europe and America throughout the 1920s and 30s. But today, surviving examples with original grips, matching serial numbers, or factory markings are prized. Prices that once hovered a few $100s now climb into $800 to $1,000, with high condition or engraved pieces going even higher. For collectors chasing classic pocket pistols, the Ortiz delivers history and craftsmanship in a single compact package. The Beretta 21, a Bobcat. Released in the 1980s, it quickly earned a reputation as one of the most practical pocket pistols of its era. Chambered in 22 LR or 25 ACP, the Bobcat featured Beretta's famous tip-up barrel, allowing you to load or unload without racking the slide, a lifesaver for anyone with limited hand strength. Lightweight, reliable, and pocketable, it became a trusted backup for civilians and off-duty officers alike. While Beretta still catalogs the model, collectors hunt the early stainless inox versions and pristine boxed sets. Prices that used to linger around $200 now push $500 to $800. For many, the Bobcat isn't just nostalgia, it's a snapshot of Beretta's engineering when deep concealment pistols were hitting their stride. The Colt 1903 pocket hammer. Before those sleek hammerless Colts dominated, there was the original Colt 1903 pocket hammer. Chambered in 38 ACP, it carried a visible hammer and a slightly larger frame, chunky by today's standards, but revolutionary back in the early 1900s. At a time when revolvers ruled the pocket carry world, a compact semi-auto like this was a game changer. Colt only made these for a short stretch, keeping production numbers low. That scarcity drives collector demand today. Clean examples are tough to find, and auction prices regularly climb from $2,000 to $4,000, with pristine pieces going even higher. The 1903 pocket hammer represents the bridge between the revolver-dominated past and the hammerless revolution of the Roaring '20s. Owning one isn't just collecting history, it's holding a milestone in the evolution of American handguns. The Smith & Wesson Model 61 Escort. In the early 1970s, Smith & Wesson jumped into the pocket pistol market with the Model 61, aka the Escort, chambered in .22 LR. It was a tiny semi-auto meant for discreet carry when small handguns were suddenly in demand. On paper, it had all the right boxes checked. Lightweight alloy frame, multiple finish options, and the legendary S&W branding. In reality, though, it picked up a reputation for reliability issues and even recalls, which sank its popularity. For years, Escorts sat collecting dust on gun show tables, often priced next to nothing. But production only lasted a few years, and surviving examples are now quirky collectibles. Today, clean models trade from $500 to $900, and boxed originals with paperwork climb even higher. Not the most refined pocket pistol ever, but for collectors chasing unusual chapters in S&W history, the Escort is a must-have. CCAMP LWS 25 and LWS 32. If you know CCAMP, you know these stainless steel micro pistols built their own legend. The LWS 25 and later the LWS 32 were among the first true double-action only micro pistols in the US. No safeties, no bulky controls, just a smooth trigger pull and a frame small enough to vanish in your palm. Their appeal for deep concealment in the 1980s and 90s was unmatched, and the mystique was fueled by the notorious waiting list. Demand was so high, buyers often waited years. When they finally got one, letting it go wasn't an option. Scarcity pushed prices through the roof. Early runs with original roll marks or factory paperwork now regularly break $2,000. Pristine boxed examples or rare variants climb higher. To collectors, the LWS 25 and 32 aren't just backup guns, they're symbols of craftsmanship and exclusivity. Spot one tucked in a shop case and you're looking at a small fortune in stainless steel. The FN Baby Browning. Introduced in 1931, FN wasn't making just another vest pistol. They were redefining ultra-compact semi-autos chambered in .25 ACP. The Baby Browning brought smoother lines, an updated striker-fired system, and a profile so slim it could vanish in a pocket or handbag without a trace. For decades, these were often dismissed as novelties or cheap backups priced at a couple $100 at gun shows. Time, however, flipped the script completely. Collectors today chase clean pre-war Belgian examples, rare engraved models, and presentation-grade pistols showcasing FN craftsmanship. Prices routinely land between $800 and $1,500, with special editions climbing into the multiple thousand range. The Baby Browning proves that even the tiniest pistol can carry enormous collector weight, a pocket-sized piece of history increasing in both desirability and value. The Makarov PM, Soviet-designed and unassuming at first glance, the Makarov PM earned a reputation as one of the most rugged, reliable service pistols of the Cold War. Chambered in 9x18mm, compact, simple, and dead easy to maintain, it became the standard sidearm for soldiers, police, and intelligence operatives across Eastern Europe for decades. When imports hit the US, they were dirt cheap. You could snag one for under $200 and toss it in a range bag without a second thought. But collectors have finally woken up. Early Russian or East German models with proper military markings now climb $700 to $1,200, and special presentation models fetch more. What started as a utilitarian service piece is now a must-have for anyone who appreciates old-school toughness in a small, no-nonsense package. The Beretta 950 Jet Fire. Long before the Bobcat, Beretta had a deep concealment ace, the 950 Jetfire. Introduced in the 1950s, this tiny semi-auto chambered in .25 ACP packed Beretta's tip-up barrel design, letting you load without racking the slide. It became a favorite for those craving simplicity, speed, and reliability in a miniature package. Weighing less than 10 ounces and barely longer than your hand, the Jetfire slipped effortlessly into purses, pockets, and ankle holsters worldwide. For decades, it was dirt cheap, often changing hands for under $150. But with production ending and supplies drying up, the market flipped. Today, clean Jetfires regularly bring $400 to $700, with rare nickel-plated or engraved variants climbing even higher. The Jetfire is old-school Beretta engineering at its finest, a true vest pocket classic whose value only heads north. The Colt Vest Pocket, 1908. When John Browning designed this pistol, he didn't just make a gun, he defined the blueprint for the modern pocket pistol. Chambered in .25 ACP, the Colt Vest Pocket was elegant, slim, and reliable enough to earn trust from everyday folks who needed a pistol that could disappear in a vest or coat pocket. With a 6-round magazine and Browning's signature touches, it became the gentleman's backup of the early 20th century. Millions were produced, but time has thinned the herd. Clean originals with factory grips or special order finishes are far from easy to find. Collectors chase engraved examples, early production guns, and pistols shipped with pearl or ivory stocks. Standard examples in good shape now fetch $700 to $1,500, while rare or presentation-grade models can command several thousand. The Colt Vest Pocket isn't just a tiny pistol, it's a miniature piece of Browning's genius whose value only climbs with each passing year. The Zastava P25 Dark Lady. Straight out of Yugoslavia came one of the most stylish pocket pistols of the mid-20th century. Chambered in .25 ACP, the P25, nicknamed the Dark Lady, stood out with a deep blue finish and surprisingly solid feel for such a compact frame. It rode the European vest gun wave, built for discreet carry when concealment was paramount. For years, these pistols were overlooked as surplus imports, often selling under $150. But once production ceased and imports dried up, collectors noticed the build quality, the sleek profile, and of course, that catchy nickname. Today, clean examples regularly pull $400 to $700, with early production or mint-condition guns climbing higher. For pocket pistol collectors, the P25 is proof that even forgotten imports can become hot collectibles. The Remington Model 51. Introduced in 1918 by John Peterson, the Model 51 was way ahead of its time. Chambered in .32 ACP and .380 ACP, it used Peterson's hesitation lock system for softer recoil and smoother handling than most competitors. Its sleek, futuristic lines made it stand out among the blocky pocket pistols of the era. Shooters quickly noticed it wasn't just different, it felt different. Even General George S. Patton privately carried one, adding mystique. But commercial success was modest, production numbers remained low, and the pistol quietly slipped into history. That scarcity fuels collector demand today. Standard examples trade hands for $1,500 to $2,500, with rare variants climbing higher. The Model 51 represents the sweet spot where advanced engineering, history, and rising value intersect. The Savage Model 1907. When Savage released this semi-auto, it wasn't just another small pistol, it was a marketing powerhouse. Chambered in .32 ACP and later in .380 ACP, it featured a 10-round magazine at a time when most competitors only offered 5. Savage marketed it with the bold slogan, 10 shots quick, emphasizing firepower in a pocket-sized package, huge in the early 1900s. Its unique scalloped slide serrations and compact frame gave it a distinct look. Civilians and even the US military took notice. Millions were produced, but high-grade survivors are rare today. Collectors hunt early production runs, military-marked pistols, and engraved examples showcasing Savage's craftsmanship. Standard models trade $600 to $1,200, while rare variants climb higher. The Model 1907 proves that innovation, marketing, and history can converge in one classic pocket pistol. The Mauser HSC, introduced in 1940, the HSC was Germany's response to the growing demand for concealable pistols during World War II. Chambered in 7.65 millimeter or 32 ACP. It combined sleek curves with a blowback design for reliability and ease of carry. Police officers and some German military units relied on it, and post-war it spread to markets worldwide. What set the HSC apart was its streamlined look, ergonomic grip, and craftsmanship signature Mauser quality. Overshadowed by larger wartime sidearms like the P-38 or the Luger, it quietly earned a reputation as one of the most elegant pocket pistols of its era. Today, collectors hunt wartime production pistols with original markings and post-war commercial models. Prices that once lingered in the low hundreds now climb quickly, with clean examples selling $800 to $1,500, and presentation-grade guns fetching even more. The HSC is a must-have for anyone tracking mid-20th century collectible pocket pistols. The FN 1906 Vest Pocket, also known as the Model, 1905 in America. At the dawn of the 20th century, John Browning collaborated with Fabrique Nationale in Belgium to craft one of the most influential pocket pistols ever. Chambered in 25 ACP. It was incredibly compact, small enough to disappear into a vest pocket or a lady's handbag. It wasn't just tiny, it was reliable. Civilians and police officers trusted it as a lightweight backup. Millions were produced before World War II, but high-condition early examples are drying up fast. Collectors today chase pre-war pistols, rare engraved variants, and factory presentation pieces. Standard models bring $800 to $1,500, while ornate or custom versions climb much higher. The FN 1906 didn't just define pocket carry, it became the blueprint for nearly every vest pistol that followed. The North American Arms Mini Revolver. North American Arms carved out a unique corner of the pocket pistol world with their line of mini revolvers. Chambered in 22 LR and 22 Magnum, these tiny wheel guns are some of the smallest fully functional revolvers ever made. They can literally ride on a keychain holster or vanish in a watch pocket, yet they remain capable of sending rounds downrange when it counts. At first, many shooters dismissed them as novelties too small to take seriously. But collectors and concealed carriers quickly recognized the appeal: stainless steel construction, surprising reliability, and the sheer cool factor of a revolver that fits in your palm earned the mini revolvers a devoted following. Today, special editions, engraved runs, and rare models like the belt buckle revolver are climbing in value. What once traded around $150 now commands $400 to $700, with collectible variants reaching even higher. For anyone chasing pocket-sized firepower with old-school charm, the NAA Mini Revolver is a must-have that's only gaining momentum in the collector market. The Colt 1908 Pocket Hammerless. By the time Colt released the 1908, John Browning had already proven the concept with the earlier 1903 chambered in 32 ACP, but the 1908 took it up a notch, chambering the more powerful 380 ACP cartridge. Sleek, slim, and snag-free thanks to its concealed hammer, it became a favorite among military officers, detectives, and anyone needing a serious sidearm in a discreet package. What made it special wasn't just the design, it was the perfect balance of power and concealability. For its size, the 1908 packed a punch while remaining comfortable to carry all day. That's why so many officers and government agencies relied on it through the early and mid-20th century. Today, collectors chase early production models, factory-engraved examples, and pistols with original finish and grips intact. Prices regularly range from $1,200 to over $2,000, with rare military issue or pristine condition guns fetching far more. The 1908 pocket hammerless stands as one of Browning's most refined carry pistols, a timeless design climbing steadily in collector value. The Walther PPK. Few pocket pistols carry the weight, both historical and cultural, of the PPK. First introduced in the 1930s as the compact sibling to the Walther PP, the PPK quickly became the sidearm of choice for European police, intelligence officers, and high-ranking officials. Chambered in .32 and .380 ACP, it blended concealability, reliability, and unmistakable German engineering. But what cemented its fame was pop culture. The PPK became the weapon of choice for the world's most famous fictional spy, turning it into a global icon. For decades, surplus and imported models were affordable, sometimes under $400. Those days are long gone. Collectors now fight over early German production runs, pre-war markings, wartime-issued pistols, and rare finishes. Clean examples regularly sell for $1,200 to $2,500, with presentation-grade or pristine condition models climbing much higher. The Walther PPK isn't just a pocket pistol, it's elegance, history, and legend all rolled into one, and its collector value is only heading upward. These 20 pocket pistols, once overlooked or relegated to glove boxes, vest pockets, or as backup pieces, have rewritten history in the collector market. What was once a cheap, disposable firearm can now rival the cost of a car payment, turning forgotten relics into prized treasures. From John Browning's American ingenuity to European craftsmanship and Soviet Cold War toughness, each piece tells a story that transcends mere firepower. They're not just tools, they're history, art, and engineering condensed into a palm-sized package. Collectors and shooters alike are learning that keeping an eye on these classics can pay dividends. Whether you stumble across a Walther Model 9 at a pawn shop, an early Colt 1903 pocket hammer at a gun show, or a pristine FN Baby Browning tucked in a display case, understanding their legacy and market trajectory is key. These guns are climbing fast, and every year adds more scarcity, more historical significance, and more value. In the world of firearms collecting, patience and knowledge often separate the lucky find from the one that slips through your fingers. So, the next time you open your safe or sift through an old drawer, don't underestimate that little pocket pistol you wrote off decades ago. It might just be the hidden gem that defines the next chapter of your collection, the piece that sparks conversations, and the firearm that appreciates while you weren't even paying attention. In this market, history, rarity, and engineering excellence converge to create not just value, but stories that collectors and enthusiasts will treasure for generations.